guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be doing a little get ready with me while I answer some of your questions about my relationship. I asked you guys on Instagram a little while ago what videos you wanted to see from me, and you guys wanted to see a relationship advice video and also a relationship Q&A. So I thought I would do this in a more casual style and do a relationship Q&A while I got ready. So yeah, you guys had a lot of questions. This is a long video, so I'm sorry for that, but I really hope you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, good morning guys. There were so many questions about mine and Joseph's relationship, so this one is going to be just a little casual chat about myself and Joseph, just so you guys can get more of an idea of what we are like as a couple. So I think just to give you a background on myself and Joseph. Myself and Joseph have been together for nearly 4 years. It'll be 4 years in May, so not nearly 4 years at all. So the first question is, I know you said in a previous video that you guys broke up. Why did you guys break up before? I actually wasn't going to answer this because I don't want to get too personal about my relationship, because Joseph's not here to talk about it, but also as well I wanted to touch on it because I think it is very stigmatized when couples break up and get back together, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's never gonna work. If it didn't work in the first place, then it's definitely gonna not work now. And I want to tell you that if anyone is telling you this, please do not listen to them. Myself and Joseph's relationship now couldn't be further from the relationship that we were in to begin with. The first relationship that we were in together, I had just gone out of a really toxic relationship with a previous partner, so I had taken a lot of toxic traits from that relationship and brought it into mine and Joseph's relationship. Bear in mind, me and Joseph were 16 when we got together, so we were literally only babies still, and so I was kind of just a really insecure person in that relationship, and it ended up ruining a lot for us. So then obviously we broke up. There is another side to why we broke up, but that is not for me to talk about. We broke up essentially because the relationship was like, it was just a bit of a disaster. To give you examples, I was making him call me every single night to go to sleep on the phone because that's what I did with my previous relationship, and I had gotten so used to it, I thought that was normal. Another example is that I felt the need to be with Joseph 24/7 because basically in my last relationship I was cheated on about 12-13 times. I was made to feel like I was worthless in that relationship, so I thought that Joseph was going to be cheating on me, so I felt the need to be with him 24/7 to keep an eye on him. So that's why me and Joseph broke up. So the next question that I can see is, have you ever had to keep a secret from your boyfriend, and if so, how have you done it in a healthy way? I have never had to keep a secret from Joseph. Ever in my entire life have I ever had to keep a secret from him, because the types of secrets I think that you would want to be keeping is if you cheated on your partner, or if you did something that you knew was disrespectful or pushed your relationship's boundaries, or if it was something that, you know, you knew your partner wouldn't be happy with. And I think if you need to hide something from your partner, you need to question what you're hiding and it's actually going to benefit you in the long run. Just know they're probably going to be more pissed off that you've been hiding something from them rather than the situation itself, if it's not that deep. If it's that deep that you've cheated on them, then of course they're going to be pissed off. Like, I wouldn't be happy if Joseph was keeping something from me. I just don't think you can do so in a healthy way. I genuinely don't think you are going to be able to keep a secret from your partner in a healthy way. So the next question is, what is the biggest thing that you've had to forgive, and how have you moved past it for the relationship? Kind of going along what I was saying earlier about me and Joseph, like originally being in a relationship that just was very childish. It was very like, it was just very like school relationship. He never actually did anything in the relationship. I just want to point that out. That whole toxic bullshit was from me and my insecurities. But the one thing I did have to forgive him for was, I didn't have to forgive him for anything, I had to forgive our past relationship together. And that is something that I think a lot of people go back to, is, you know, if they've broken up with someone and they've gotten back together, they kind of hold that past relationship over their partner's head. And that is one thing that both of us have come to not only realize, but have come to understand, that you and your partner, if you have talked about a situation, you can no longer bring that situation up. It is one of those things, again, where your partner's gonna be more pissed off at you that you've brought it up again, because it's like, well, I thought we dealt with that. So that's why I was saying, you really need to sit there and go through everything with your partner. If something is upsetting you, go through absolutely everything with them and make sure that you are happy that you've gotten everything off your chest. Because if you decide to bring this thing up, you know, 6 months later with added things to it, it's gonna be like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? I thought we dealt with this. So that was one thing that we had to forgive each other for, was our past relationship, and we actually genuinely both had to move on. But yeah, that is one thing that myself and Joseph had to forgive each other on, was that past relationship. This man literally knows how to communicate, and it is the best thing in the world, having a partner that just is able to get across their feelings without being hurtful towards you, without being nasty, without like making it out that, you know, you've done something wrong. It's just bloody brilliant. So the next question is, how have your past relationships influenced your current one? And I really like this conversation because I know a lot of people don't like talking about their exes, and to be honest, I don't like talking about my exes either. However, I'm quite grateful for the ex before Joseph. I'm not grateful for him, absolutely not, but I am grateful for the lessons that that relationship taught me. And even though I went through a lot in that relationship, and especially for being a 16-year-old and going through what I did in that relationship, now looking back, I'm glad it happened. At the time, I don't think any 16-year-old should go through that. Not just cheating, but there's a load of other shit in that relationship that I really had to mature quite quickly and mature as a person from it. How it's influenced my relationship now is, well, as I said, it influenced my first like relationship with Joseph in such a negative way. That's how I thought all men were going to treat me from now on. So I instantly, even though Joseph was the most incredible person then as he is now, I still was convinced he was going to cheat on me, he was going to leave me because there was always something prettier, he was always looking for like other eye candy, and it was because of my ex that I was like that. However, then when it came to this relationship and I realized that Joseph is not my ex, Joseph is nothing like him, will never be anything like him, it made me also realize that I can have a healthy relationship after coming out of that. And you know, I can be with someone that makes me feel good. I can be with someone that, you know, actually wants to be with just me and isn't looking for the next opportunity. The next question I really like, and it is, do you have any doubts or fears or concerns with your relationship, and how do you work through them? Again, I don't know. I do say I am quite blessed with Joseph. Like, I say it a lot, and I say it to my friends and family, like, I am very, very, and I know I am very, very lucky with Joseph. He is not a regular man. He looks after me in a way that, you know, most 21-year-old men wouldn't. So I always say, like, I'm quite blessed with Joseph, that he is such an old school gentleman. I thank his mum and his dad for raising him the way that he is. Like, he's such a loving, kind, caring, attentive man towards everyone in his life, whether it's his friends, whether it's his family, whether it's me. And so when it comes to it, you know, I'm quite lucky that he never makes me feel like there's any problems, because he doesn't do anything to cause problems in a relationship. Like, he doesn't cheat. He knows my boundaries and he knows how far my boundaries go. He's very respectful towards that, and I've never had to question him. I've never had to go through his phone or felt the need or want to. You know, he tells me everything and anything. He loves me. I've never had to question it. So no, I've absolutely zero worries in my relationship. 3 years, nearly 4 years down the line, and that man has never given me a worry in my entire life. So someone asked, what is my love language? And I actually had to do the test for this because I did not know. My results were, the majority is that my love language is quality time, which makes so much sense because I am such a, once he is beside me, I'm happy. I don't need him to be kissing me 24/7. I just need him there and I'm happy out. It went quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and then gift giving, which I think is pretty accurate. Like, I am not someone that needs a lot when it comes to a relationship. I'm just like, once you love me, respect me, that's all that I need from our relationship. So the next question is, what is one thing that you would end your relationship over? I would end my relationship on one thing, and that is if he cheated on me. I have said time and time again, you can fix, well, this is what I believe. I believe personally that you can fix your relationship. You can fix your love, you can fix your intimacy, you can fix like everything like that. But I don't think you can fix your relationship if the trust of cheating has been like reached or broken. I just don't think you could ever come back from cheating on your partner. That person, even though they might say they're okay, and even though that person might convince you that, you know, it's okay, like I forgive you, I understand it was like a once-off thing, your trust is broken between you two. They're constantly going to be questioning themselves and their worth. They're constantly going to be questioning your acts. Like you say you have to stay on late for work, you might actually have to stay on late for work, but they're going to be thinking, oh, are they off getting dinner or booking a hotel room or going back to someone's house? It's just always going to be the way when you end up cheating on a partner. So the only thing I would end my relationship over would be if he cheated on me. The next question is, what is the most supportive thing that Joseph has done for you? I'm quite lucky in the sense that Joseph has never had to support me in a massive way while we've been together. I'm quite lucky that I've not gone through a lot. Like, I've gone through things, but I've not gone through a lot. However, what Joseph has been the most supportive thing on is just my self-love journey. I have been blessed with him to have him as my best friend before we were even together. So if you don't know, me and Joseph met in school. We were really good friends before we got together, and then we got together. And Joseph has seen me go through a lot. Me and Joseph have been through a lot together as friends. So Joseph has seen me go through a lot and grow as a person. And if you don't know, I think I've spoken about it maybe once or twice, but I had a really bad eating disorder for years. And I was struggling with that mentally. I was struggling with my self-confidence. I was struggling with my image. I was struggling with everything like that. And then also mixing that, I had my relationship with my ex, where again a lot of stuff happened in that relationship, and because Joseph was my best friend at the time, he had to, well, he didn't have to be there, but he was there for me. So going through that period of time in my life, that has been the most supportive he has ever had to be, and he was. It's weird because Joseph always, he's a type of person, even when we were younger, and you know, teenage lads can be little shits, but he has been just an angel throughout. Like, he genuinely was there for me. He was boosting my confidence. He was making sure that I was genuinely okay. He was probably the only person that got me through everything and kept being there for me. And I've told him before, I'm like, you genuinely saved me as a person, and I'll forever be grateful for that. So yes. The next question is, do you guys work together? No, we actually don't. Myself and Joseph went to school together, so that's how I know him. We work 2 separate jobs. He works for a telecommunications company, and I work for a luxury handbag store. So there you go. So the next question is, do you have concerns about settling down so young, and how do you get through them? I feel like in this day and age, you know, it's kind of like the culture now to celebrate being single and to celebrate getting with a load of people. For those people that do that and do like that, I am delighted for them. However, that is not my scene. I have always been someone that just wants to be with someone. So when people are saying like, oh, you know, you're so young, you're in your early 20s, like you really should be going out, enjoying life, experiencing people, doing what you need to do, I'm just like, no thanks, I'm okay. It has never been my vibe, and it has never been Joseph's vibe. We both have always said we wanted a family quite young, even when we weren't together, when we were just friends, when we had never been together. Like, we were always like, we're the family type of people where, you know, you want to be in love, engaged, married, house, kids, everything like that. I think if you are worrying about settling down, then don't settle. Because if you're already having that fear, you're not in the right place of your life. Especially if, you know, it's a talk between you and your partner where your partner's like, I want to settle down, and you're like, no. Don't even bother trying to convince yourself that you will, you know, you'll come around, or, you know, your partner will like ease up. Don't do that to yourself. You'll only stress yourself out. You'll only be thinking about something for a long period of time that you don't need to be thinking about. You need to actually be in doing what you want to do and enjoying your life. And for me, that is having a family. Obviously, I didn't intend to be pregnant this young, but it is like just being with Joseph, having our relationship, See my friends, if you're worried about settling down, don't settle. And if you want to settle down, settle. The next question is something that I really wanted to put in here because it is something that I think people presume. And it is, what was his reaction to keeping the baby? This person is coming from a good place. I know what she means. But it is just so funny how we all have it in our heads that if a couple is having a baby so young, that automatically you presume that either the dad doesn't want it, or you automatically presume that abortion or adoption are automatically questions. They're topics that have been brought up. Whereas for myself and Joseph, they weren't even options. Like that wasn't even talked about. I still don't think we've even mentioned being like, oh, by the way, did you think of this when we got pregnant? Like I said, myself and Joseph are such family people, and from the get-go we have always said, you know, if I were to fall pregnant, that's it, we now have a family. Joseph, I'm not joking you, is probably more excited about this baby than me, and I'm very excited for this baby. Like I cannot wait to meet this little man. I'm so excited to be his mum. But Joseph, I can't even explain, being a dad, he is so excited for it. I've never met someone to be more excited about being a dad in their entire life than him. He is ready for this role. I feel like it was just meant to be, especially for him. It was never the case of what was his reaction to keeping the baby. It was just more so what was his reaction to me being pregnant. And the answer to that is he is bloody excited. Having a baby at 22 is a lot of responsibility, but he is ready for it. Okay, lips are done. So we can now sit on properly chat. Okay, so someone else asked, what does he think about your makeup / YouTube? This is gonna come out harsh, but I will explain. Joseph doesn't care. And I mean that in the best way possible. He is so supportive of me. He knew that I wanted to do YouTube for ages, and it was something that I really wanted to do, but I was too nervous. I was worried about what people were going to think. And he was like, Leah, he was like, why do you care what other people think, especially when they're not the ones that are doing it? Once you're happy and once you're doing what you like, what doesn't matter what anyone else thinks? He's happy for me to do it, and he's also happy that I'm doing something that makes me happy. I don't know how to explain Joseph without you guys actually meeting Joseph. But he is just one of those people that doesn't give a shit what anyone else thinks. So even if his friends, even though they wouldn't, he has such good friends, but like even if one of his friends were to be like, here, what the fuck is Leah doing, like doing YouTube, like it's so embarrassing, he'd be like, I don't give a shit. Like, he's one of those people where he's just like, she's happy, so I'm happy. Now, he doesn't watch my videos because these are not his type of videos to watch, but he is subscribed, and yeah. So someone else asks, the moment when you knew he was the one. As I said, me and Joseph were best friends for years before we got together. There is so many moments of me and Joseph where the both of us are like, how did we not realize then that we were meant to be together? Joseph was my only genuine lad friend that I would go and see outside of school. So I'd go to his house. My mum, it was the strictest mum ever. When I was younger, I could not go into lads' houses. I couldn't go near lads. I was told I wasn't allowed a boyfriend till after my junior year. However, Joseph was the only boy she liked. She would let me go to his house and see. She loved Joseph, right? That should have been my first inkling. Do you know what it was? How I knew he was definitely the one? This is me putting myself out there. So if you don't know, Joseph's the only person I've ever been with in that way. I'm happy to be the person to say that, because I know there is a stigma around you only being with one person, and people are like, oh, you know, you need to take support. No, I'm happy that Joseph's the only person that I've ever been with in that way. So he kissed me in November, so that was the first thing of being like, I'm literally in love with this man. But then in December we properly got together, and this boy, I had been told so much that the only reason he was with me was for sex. Bear in mind, I had never had sex with anyone in my entire life. He wouldn't have had anyone's experience in his head being like, they had this experience with Leah, because I had never had sex with anyone. I was being told that he was only with me for sex, and he was being told I was never gonna have sex. This is what he was being told, right? So months went by and I was just not ready to have sex, and this man was the most respectful person in the entire world towards that. The respect that he showed me, considering he could have easily dumped me because I wasn't straight up being like, I'm having sex with you. I literally made him wait, and as you should, never have sex with someone just because. But it was the fact that he didn't even ask once, so when are we gonna do? Not once. He never questioned me, he never like pressured me, like nothing like that. Like, that man waited and waited and waited, and not once ever did he ask, are we ever gonna do it? Not once. He was probably thinking it, but he never said to me. So I felt no pressure to be with him sexually, because he made me feel that he was just so content with being with me, even if sex wasn't even involved. So that's what I'm gonna say is when I realized he was the one. How has being pregnant interfered with your sex life? So I'm not gonna talk exactly on mine Joseph's sex life. That's private. No one needs to know about that. But what I will say is it is very different for everyone through pregnancy. I have heard that, you know, some people on one child will have the highest sex drive and another child will have no sex drive. But for me, I'm basically going to break down into each trimester. The first trimester, Joseph might as well have been celibate. The poor man. I struggled a lot with exhaustion and tiredness and weakness and just everything, nausea, the lot. So I'd be in work, I'd come home from work, I'd nap, I then would go to have like a 10-hour sleep at night. So that poor man didn't see me, and I think I mentioned it before, but I ended up bawling to him one night because I felt so bad that I was like neglecting our relationship in that way. So in the first trimester, like, it wasn't as regular as if I wasn't pregnant. Second trimester, I was back to normal, my energy levels were up, it was like the usual, perfect. And then in my third trimester, so currently, it's a lot more difficult because you're up for it, but you now have this massive bump in your way, and you know, the way you used to move before is not the way you move now. So yeah, you want it, but it's a struggle. Each pregnancy is different, and as well, I think it's something that doesn't get talked about. Sex is such a taboo subject. I don't mind talking about it, but I don't like talking about mine and Joseph's, because I'm like, he's not here, he's not like here to agree to what I'm saying. So I have two more questions really quickly. Who gets emotional in disagreements first? Me. Always me, always has been me. I'm an emotional person anyways, and Joseph's not an emotional person, and I think that's why we work together so well. He is just such a level-headed person. I think I've seen him cry maybe 3 times, and those were for serious situations. Other than that, that man can get himself through everything without crying. I, on the other hand, see, I cry in disagreements because I feel bad that I've upset him, because he is such a good man and he is an absolute angel in our relationship. So when I do something to upset him, I get so upset that I've upset him. I'm like, how dare I do this to this perfect man? It doesn't happen often, it really doesn't. We don't have arguments, we don't have disagreements. It's one of those things where, like, I'll give you an example. Joseph and I were on the train, we were coming back from a scan, and we had been in Dublin really early. Like, we were woken up at like, I can't even remember what time it was. I think it was like, I was awake at 6, he was awake at 7. Got on the train to Dublin, had a scan, walked around. I was knackered, he was knackered. As we were getting on the train through the barriers, he was on his phone, and there was a queue of people behind us, and they weren't opening all the like barriers to get through. It was one barrier, and there's usually like 20 barriers that people can get through. So we're all in line, and Joseph was on his phone, and for some reason I snapped at him. I do not snap, I do not shout, I do not give out. I am a person that keeps my calm and keeps my cool, and especially when it comes to Joseph, I will not raise my voice, I will not do anything. For some reason, don't ask me why, I snapped at him. I was like, can you get off your phone? And I have never in my life raised my voice at him in my entire life. The man wasn't even doing anything. The man literally wasn't even doing anything. He did nothing to deserve that, and the pure shock in his face when I did that was like, I don't think he could believe it, and he ended up naturally snapping back at me, which was completely warranted. So then we got on the train, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't believe I just did that, and I'm in such shock that I did that. Like I said, our communication is so good that he turned around to me and he was like, here, like, I really didn't appreciate the way you did that, and he just looked so upset. So then that started having my eyes start tearing up because I've made this man really upset, and I was just like, I'm really sorry. And he was like, it's okay. He was like, I just didn't appreciate that. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then he's one of those people that, like, once the conversation is said and done, he doesn't hold it against you. Like, he is done with that conversation. He is like, perfect, we're now good, we're now chill, I said what I need to say, you said what you need to say, it's done. Oh my god, I was apologizing I think for like 2 weeks after. I even brought it up the other day, being like, I still feel so guilty about that. I'm such a guilty person when I do something wrong that I will bring it up to the person. I just keep bringing this shit up like that, and he's like, Leah, like, I've moved past that. I moved past that when we were still on that train. And I'm like, I know, but like, I upset you and I can't believe I did that. I don't know why I did that. And he's like, all right, calm down. Yeah, I get emotional in disagreements first. And then the last question is, who settled in this relationship? And this question always makes me laugh. But if I were to pick, I definitely think Joseph settled. And the reason I'm saying that is because you ever get into a relationship, or are you in a relationship, or you think of a person and you're just like, that person is just, they're too good to be true. He, as I've said a million times, he treats me so good. He is a beautiful man. Like, he literally could get anyone he wants, and he's ended up with me. And I know that sounds terrible because I've such, like, I back myself to the ground. I know my worth. But you know when you're just like, there is no person in this entire world that actually would be good enough for him. Like, no one. There is no one on this earth that would be good enough for that man. So I'm gonna say he settled, because he is a literal angel. He has been the most incredible man to me, to his friends, to his family. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna say he settled. But guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed getting ready with me. I really hope you guys enjoyed me answering some questions on my relationship, and there will be a relationship advice video coming very soon. That will be up in the next maybe like week or so, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you will be first to be notified when I upload. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.